Welcome to The Price is Bright, the hot new game show centered around beach activities. I'm your host, Adeline Payne. Let's meet our lucky contestants for today. The lucky contestants are Christian C. Come on down. Joey, come on down. David, come on down. Brittany, come on down. And last but not least, Christian, come on down. Some good looking contestants we have here today. Alright contestants, I'm going to place an item up for bid and you must get the closest bid to make it to the next round. Are you ready?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. The next item up for bid is this nice surfboard. Contestants, what are your bids?
$100.
Okay,
$700.
that's interesting.
$5.
$5?
$450.
Okay.
$35.
Well, ding, 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 ding. Christian C, the price is right. Oh, bright. All right, Christian, in order to win that fabulous prize, you must first answer this beachy question correctly. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
What culture's upper class surf? Is it A, the Canadians, B, the Americans, or is it C, the Hawaiians?
I'm going to say C, the Hawaiians.
That's amazing, Christian. How did you know that?
Well, I could just give you the quick answer, but I don't want to rob you and these beautiful people of the whole history of surfing. It all started with the kings and queens of the Sandwich Islands. They practiced a sport called Hei Analu in the 1500s, which roughly translated as wave sliding. That's the earliest, but the most documented contact came from when the Europeans met in Tahiti in the 1750s. And Captain James Cook used to walk along the beaches every morning, and he would always record the locals surfing in canoes. So he said they would always look vigorous and just very happy, and they would repeat the process and just surf in their canoes all day. So that's really when they think surfing took off, towards in the Pacific Islands. They also think that the Hawaiians, they surfed. They were the first ones to make it a big cultural trend, but it was only for the high class. You had to be wealthy to surf. And it became so ingrained in their culture that they developed their own prayers, their own board shapers. Like they had a process. Like if you wanted to have a surfboard, you had to go to a tree, and you finally found your perfect tree for your board. Before you cut it down, you had to leave a fish at the roots, and you had to pray as a sacrifice to the surfing gods. After that, you could cut it down, and you could take it to your shaper, and he would make you a surfboard that was just, fantastic. And they had 4 different kinds of surfboards. They had a surfboard that was like 2 to 4 feet, and that was for the groms, that was for the little guys. They were about 2 to 4 feet in length, and that was called a paipo. They had a 8 to 12 foot board, which was called an alaya, and that was for like younger people who they just like to catch the waves, have a lot of fun, do cool tricks and stuff. And then they started getting into bigger boards. They had a 12 to 18 foot called a kikio, and an 18 to 24 foot called an olo. And those were like for older people, kings, queens, people who weren't really proficient at surfing. So they pretty much set a 30-foot plank of wood to coast to the shore on. But and that was an interesting, little tidbit. And then it transitioned into mainstream culture around the early 20s. But surfing was like a counterculture. It was even more like counterculture than the flappers. Like only 5,000 people worldwide surfed before 1928. And it really started to take off in the 50s when surf culture started being glamorized in like all kinds of movies. Like people would go to the drive-ins and they would watch surf movies. The most notable is called Gidget. It was about a girl midget who started rolling with a surf gang. And after everybody watched Gidget, like America fell in love, and by the late 50s, over 500,000 people started surfing. From then it took off. The ISP started, and that is a professional surf circuit. That's where all the contests were through. But even that wasn't, really big or really exciting until probably the late 90s, or early 90s. The early 90s, the ISP turned into the ASP World Tour. And every year, they designed a 2-tiered circuit where 44 of the world's most popular surfers consistently do well, get to compete against each other to try and become the #1 surfer in the world for the particular year. And so after the 44 have surfed in a couple contests, 16 are left, and Kelly Slater's pretty much just had a chokehold on the ASP since he came to fame. He's won 12, which is like the most of anybody. I mean, it's crazy. But yeah, I mean, the only reason I would know any of this stuff is because surfing means a lot to me, and I think it's a lot, to our cultural region. I think it should be very, be very important to everybody, and that's why I was on this game show today. As Brevard County, surfing is like a really big deal. The coastline, we've got almost 100 miles of it up and down. So, I've been surfing since I was 14. I fell in love with it when my friend's older brother taught me how to do it. Since then, it's just been, fun. It's been ridiculously fun. It's the best way to blow off steam. Have some fun, hang out with your friends. And you can, anybody can surf. Think about Bethany Hamilton. She lost an arm surfing, from the shoulder, and she still goes out and surfs, and she's professional. So, anybody can surf. Maybe give it a try sometime. Do a little history research. Maybe you could win a surfboard on The Price is Right. Thank you.
That was very interesting, Christian. I hope you enjoy your new prize.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's see what the next item up for bid is. It's this lovely fishing pole. All right, contestants, what are your bids?
$12.
$12. That's interesting.
25. 125.
$200.
200.
Ding, 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 ding. The price is right for Joey. Come on down. How are you doing today, Joey?
Pretty good.
That's excellent. Well, in order to win that fine fishing pole, you must first answer this beachy question correctly. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
The question is, what pound test line appears to be on that fishing pole? Is it A, 10 to 25 pounds, B, 26 to 50 pounds, or C, 51 to 75 pounds?
I'd like to go with A.
10 to 25 pounds, that's correct. Joey, that's incredible. How did you know that?
Well, I knew that because I've been fishing my whole life, and my dad used to take me when I was younger, and he's lived here his entire life, and he's fished every single day. So he taught me all the stuff I need to know about fishing. So I kind of enjoy fishing just from being around it my whole life, and it's a fun pastime for me. It's like a hobby. And pretty much to use these things, all you gotta do is flip the bail when you want to cast it out and just fling it, and it goes out in the air into the water. When you want to reel it back, you just gotta do that, but you should wait till you get a bite and you can reel in your catch. And poles come in all sizes. If you just want to fish on the beach, I have these like really tall poles for just sitting there. Well, you can also use one of these poles for going on a kayak out in the ocean. Like one time I was out there and I was kayaking, I had a pole, I had my tackle box, and I was doing a lot of fishing. There was like 3-foot waves, so I just had to get past the break. But when I was coming in, I decided it might be smart to catch a wave. And when I was riding a wave, I kind of turned sideways, my kayak flipped, and I just lost my fish pole and all my tools for fishing. It was about $200 worth of stuff. It was pretty depressing, but fishing has been around for a long time, since like almost the beginning of time, I'd like to think. But back then they used like nets and spears to catch fish, and since then fishing has evolved a lot. Like we have a lot more science, and we can study the fish, and we have seasons for certain fish that go extinct. And fishing now has actually turned into a sport, which is pretty cool. And I just like fishing a lot because it's fun to be out there. I don't really do it for a sport. I do it just to make me feel good, and that's why I do so much about fishing.
Well, that's very interesting. I hope you enjoy your new prize fishing and go catch some big fish. Why don't you?
All right, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, some good stuff there. How about we see what the next item up for bid is? Oh, it's this nice skimboard. Pretty cool. Contestants, what are your bids?
75.
200.
$3.
$3, okay.
$50.
All right. Ding, 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 ding. The price is right. We're David. Come on up. How do you feel about the show so far, David?
Oh, I love it. I love
Do you?
it. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, in order to win that fine skimboard, you must first answer this beachy question correctly. David, are you ready?
Yep.
Excellent. The question is, what kind of skimboard is this? Is it an A, Zap, B, Victoria, or is it a C, Great?
I'm going to go with B, Victoria.
Victoria, that's an interesting answer. Let's see if it's correct. It is! That's awesome! You must tell us, how on earth did you come up with that answer?
Well, I wanted to win this particular item, so I did my research, and I came up with skimboarding was created in the 1920s in Laguna Beach by some lifeguarders who were bored when there was no surf. So they would get some wood, they would just carve a little wood, and they would ride on a thin film of water, like once the waves receded. They liked it, they loved it, and that's how it was for about 20, 30 years. After a while, like all things, skimboarding started to evolve. In the 1980s, 1985s, a company called Victoria started to push the boundaries. They started making the boards thinner and longer for better aerodynamics, and they would start going towards the wave instead of just riding side, like by the wave. Nowadays, there's two different types of skimboarding. There's flatland skimboarding, which is like where the lifeguards used to do, just on the little water, and then there's wave riding. Wave riding is where you run, you drop the board, you get on it, you hit the wave, you wrap around the wave, and you try to get in the barrel if all goes well. Flatland is really relatable to skateboarding because it's they have ramps and rails, and you like ollie onto it and you grind. And the flatland boards are a lot shorter and fatter instead of the long skinny ones like this one. This is a wave riding board. But yeah, and flatland is the least of the two popularities. Like it's not as popular because it's more dangerous and it's just not as interesting to watch. It's skimboarding is not very popular, however. It's extremely difficult. Probably, in my opinion, way harder than surfing because you don't have fins on the bottom of your board like surfers do. It's harder. It's actually easier to turn, but it's too easy to turn. You can like turn all the way around. And then like surfing, you have about 5, 6 feet of water to fall into. Skimboarding, the max you have is 3. But in flatland, you have even less. You have about a ½ inch of water just to catch your fall. Skateboarding as a career is not a good route to go. However, I know a couple of my friends who turned pro at age 16. They dropped out of school, probably not a good idea, but they pursued their career. They're professional now. They go around the United States. It's pretty popular from California to New York to Florida to Texas. I mean, it's all over the place. They travel around. They don't get paid very much. However, they get free boards. They get a house to live in, and they get clothes and stuff. But it's about the equivalent to like a minimum wage job. Really, they just don't have to work. And other than that, I love skimboarding. I do it all my life. Started at 13, 14, and even around here, if you know where Sebastian Inlet is, they have professional tournaments down there. They have them up in Cocoa Beach. It's pretty popular around this coast, and that's pretty much how I knew that answer.
That's quite intriguing. Why don't you go make some new waves with your new prize?
All right.
We've got some great contestants so far on this show. Let's see who the next lucky contestant is to win a prize. Our next prize is a nice bag of beach necessities, something we all need when we go to the beach. Contestants, what are your bids?
$175.
Okay.
15.
$15? Okay.
$30.
$75.
500.
500, wow. Ding, 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 ding. The price is right for Brittany. Come on down. How are you doing today, Brittany?
Good.
Excellent. In order to win that nice bag of beach necessities, you must first answer this beachy question correctly. Brittany,
Adeline.
are you ready?
Yes.
Excellent. The question is, over the past 30 years, more people have had this than all other cancers combined. Is it A, lung cancer, B, skin cancer, or is it C, colon cancer?
B, skin cancer.
Skin cancer? Oh my goodness, you have to tell me, how did you come up with that answer?
Alright. Well, I lived in Florida my whole entire life, so the most important thing that you people need to bring to the beach with you is sunscreen. Half of all adults get sunburned in their life, and one sunscreen prevents sunburn and skin damage. Melanoma is the most popular skin cancer of young adults. 1 in 50 people will be diagnosed with it in their life, and 1 person dies from it every hour. Another good thing that you can bring with you to help is sunglasses. 10% of all skin cancers are on your eyelids, and 900,000 people in America have cataract damage or blind from cataract damage, which was caused from UV rays. Hats also are a good thing to bring because it helps prevent skin cancer and skin damage on your face. Water is also something else you should have to help you keep hydrated and prevents heat stroke. It's good for your skin and it helps you keep refreshed so you can stay there all day, hang out with your friends, and have fun, lay out and tan if you want. Another thing that's good to bring is an iPod if you go by yourself, so you can just lay out, listen to your favorite music, do whatever you want to do. Also, it's good to bring snacks with you. They're good in antioxidants and it keeps you from being grouchy and hungry all the time. Fruit is also a good thing to bring because it helps keep you hydrated also as keeping you full. A towel is also a good thing to bring because you can just lay out on it, dry off with it after you're done surfing, or just throw it over your car seat for the ride home. And these are the most important things you need to bring to the beach when you go.
Mind-provoking, isn't it? Great job, Brittany. Enjoy your new bag of beach necessities. Well, folks, we only have time for one more round, and only enough prizes for one more round. So let's see who the last lucky contestant is to win this nice volleyball. Contestants,
$5.
okay?
35.
12. 75.
$100 for volleyball. Cool. All right, well, ding, 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 ding. The price is right. Come on down, Christian. How are you today, Christian?
Good.
I'm great. Are you feeling lucky today?
I'm feeling
I sure hope so. Now, in order to get lucky, to get that volleyball, you must first answer this beachy question correctly. Christian, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Excellent. The question is, what year was beach volleyball first played at the Olympics? Was it A, the year I was born in, 1988, B, the year 2000, Y2K, or C, 1996? Christian, what is your final answer?
I'm going to have to go with C, 1996.
That's an interesting choice. And it's correct. Christian, you must tell us all, because we are all so intrigued on how you got that answer correct.
Well, I really love playing beach volleyball when I go to the beach. It's something I enjoy doing. And I actually have done a little research on it because I really wanted to win that volleyball. It's a nice volleyball. But volleyball was actually invented in 1895. And regular volleyball is 2 teams of 6 competing in like a gym. Well, you just need really a net, and it divides the 2 teams of 6, and you serve, and they return, and the point is to have the ball hit the ground on the other team's half without them being able to return it, and you get a point. You play each game to 21 points, and so there's also beach volleyball, and with beach volleyball, it's 2 people on each side, and it's the same concept. But it's much more difficult to play beach volleyball because you don't have the nice firm concrete that you take for granted inside. You have sand, which moves around on you. It's a little firmer than regular sand, but it's still sand. So when you're trying to run for a ball, you may slip, and it makes it much harder to return it. And so it's just a much more difficult game in the sand. But it is an Olympic sport, and it is very difficult. There's a few volleyball terms, like a dig, which is basically just preventing the ball from hitting the floor. So when they serve it over or return it, you just save it from hitting the floor. It's a dig. And then there is an attack or a spike, which people know it as, where you set it up to the person, they spike it down, and the point is to hit it hard enough to where they can't stop it, they can't dig it or anything. And then there's also a block, which is when they go to return it, you jump up and you stop it from going over, you block it. It's kind of self-explanatory. So the average volleyball player will jump about 300 times in a game, or a full game, which is crazy. It seems like a lot. And well, that's about just, I love volleyball. That's why I knew the answer.
That's phenomenal, Christian. Why don't you enjoy your beach volleyball and go make a team with the other contestants?
Sounds good.
How about we all give a hand for all the contestants we've had today on The Price is Right? Excellent. Well, folks, we now had some bright contestants today on The Price is Right, but we're coming to an end. I hope all of you have learned some new activities to do at the beach. And as your host, Adeline Payne, reminding you to wear your sunscreen and remember to pick up your trash because the beach is not your trash can. Also, as everyone here at The Price is Right, wishing you a great evening.